Hey guys, here to chat a little Bears-Eagles, final game of the Wildcard Weekend slate. Um, Without further ado, let's get right to it. Uh, Opening, right? Bears -6, total 42. I'm currently seeing Bears -6.5, total 41.5. Obviously, looks like Bears are getting a little extra love here. Uh, Bears winners of 9 of their last 10. Wanted to mention, that it's kind of crazy how so many of these playoff teams have these uh, amazing winning percentages over the second half of the season. Definitely not something you see often. I think this is one of the main reasons why there's so much parity in the NFL this year. All these good teams winning so often, and yeah, granted, I'm sure there's a lot of bad teams they've beaten, but regardless, I mean, you got so many of these teams that are 8-2 in the last 10, 9-1, 11-2, 13-2. Just kind of been crazy. Now, as for the Bears, they've also only won a game at home all year, and that was to the Patriots. Not even really a bad loss. Definitely got into a shootout. They didn't lose the game bad either. Um, you got Mitch Trubisky playing very well under the stellar rookie head coach Matt Nagy, who, by the way, should win Coach of the Year unanimously in my opinion. Just had a great season for the Bears. I mean, when was the last time the Bears were actually relevant? Not even just relevant, like really good. So he's done some job. Another Andy Reid guy. So good for them, and they've had a great year. That Khalil Mack trade really made a difference for that defense. Really brought an extra life to them. Kind of starting to draw these 85 Bears comparisons. I don't really think that's warranted in this new age of soft NFL. I don't think you'll ever see a defense quite like the 85 Bears. But this team has played very well defensively. They're middle of the pack offensively, but they've gotten to where they are today with their defense. 21st in the league offensively, so definitely not going to really amaze you there. However, they've shown that they can keep up with teams if they go down. I mean, they kept up with the Patriots, played very well against the Rams, even though that game didn't require them to score a lot. They proved they can stop good offenses, and they can keep up with good offenses. Now, Bears are ranked third in defense, only behind Baltimore among the qualifying playoff teams. The inexperience of this team is really the biggest drawback to me. You got the young quarterback, the young head coach. Who does this really remind you of? To me, it reminds me of the Rams last year. The Rams entering the playoffs with a lot of high expectations, one of the best teams in the league. And, Sean McVay, Jared Goff completely seemed to dud against the Falcons on their own home field. I'm not saying that's going to happen here, just saying that is something that definitely comes to mind with young and experienced teams this time of year. Okay, so let's talk the Eagles for a bit. My boy, Big Dick Nick, took over this team 3 weeks ago. Wentz goes down. It seemed like another blessing for Philly, right? I mean, they beat the Rams as 2 touchdown underdogs on the road. They then beat Houston as a small underdog, even though the line ended up closing with them as a favorite. And then they walloped the Redskins 24-0. And, you might be like, oh, well, the Redskins suck. Well, just so you know, the Redskins almost beat the Titans the week before on the road. And they also upset the Jaguars the game before. And then you said Jaguars are trash too, and that's fine. It's fair. But look, this wasn't a team. All the quote-unquote sharps were all over the Redskins, plus the points. So, clearly the Eagles have not only won their last 3 games, they've severely outbeat Vegas' projections the last 3 weeks. I think what it really is, it comes down to Foles. I mean, first of all, he's a complete enigma. Average arm, average mobility. You could make the argument for average decision-making. Regardless, that team plays extraordinary with him behind center. At least when the games matter. Maybe when the games didn't matter, they don't play well. But when they matter, wow, what a difference. So with him calling the shots, Philly's a whole different team. Now, for me, if you're somebody who's looking at this game and going, well, you know what? I'm getting one of, if not arguably, the best team in the NFC. And I know it sounds crazy, but look, the Bears, the Bears have proven they can keep up with teams that play fast. They can keep up with. They can play a low scoring game. Granted, that's what they want to do. They want to play a low scoring game, but look, they can score when they have to. Argument could be made. They're one of the best teams in the NFC for sure. At least one of the top 2. I'm not somebody who trusts the Rams. I trust the Saints, but I'm not somebody who trusts the Rams until they can prove me wrong. I just think this winds up being a bad draw for the Bears. Momentum is such a big thing in sports, especially in football. You saw it last year in the Eagles, especially coming into the playoffs. Teams that come in on a lot of momentum, it's big. It was actually surprised me. I kind of felt like the Bears might have laid down last week against Minnesota. Not that I'm biased. I just feel like Minnesota's a better matchup for the Bears. They see Minnesota twice. Like they know Minnesota in and out. This Eagles team with all this momentum, look, Foles has proven he can play in the cold. The spotlight's not too big for him. It's almost like he thrives in this moment. That whole team just like rallies around him. They just like love. They love what he does for them, and it seems like it gets everybody pumped. It makes Alshon Jeffrey a much better receiver. Foles loves him about Alshon Jeffrey. For this game, 6.5 is a huge number. A huge number. This is going to be my least favorite bet of the weekend of the four games that I gave you. It's going to be my least favorite of the weekend, but it's definitely going to be taking Eagles plus 6.5. Look, is there a scenario where I could see the Bears rolling this team by 30? Yeah, I definitely could. I mean, they're a better team. They're a better team than the Bears are a better team than the Eagles. I mean, I wouldn't even argue it. I wouldn't even argue with somebody who says different, because just look at the roster construction. Look at the year the Bears have had, the teams they've beaten. It's a better team now. The new question becomes, well, who's playing better now? Well, you could definitely make that argument that it could be the Eagles. The Eagles have won some big games against some quality teams recently. And I feel like you got that young head coach, the young quarterback. Is the spotlight going to be too big for them? Like I said, it reminds me of a lot of the Rams last year. I get it; those two teams are built differently. The Rams are more offensive based, Bears are more defensive based. But just the whole mentality and the mindset of the constructs of the quarterback and the head coach, and is the spotlight too big? It was for the Rams last year. It very well could be too big for the Bears this year. I'm definitely going to take all 6.5 with the Eagles. Gun to my head, I do not think they win this game. I just think 6.5 is a huge number. I'll happily take all 6.5 points with the team coming in with as much momentum as the Eagles are, and it wouldn't surprise me in the least if they won. Okay, want to give you some props. I know we like doing this as well. So prop I like a lot. Probably the biggest prop I like of the game is why I bet it. Alshon Jeffrey, 57.5 yards. You can get that at minus 108 over. So again, over 57.5 yards at minus 108 for Alshon Jeffrey. He's gone over this number his last 3 games. To no surprise, his last 3 games, Nick Foles has been throwing him the football. I just feel like this is a number that's a little low. It's a few points low. When Foles is forced out of the pocket, he's always looking for Jeffrey. Where's Jeffrey? And you'll see the Eagles often throw a few balls, or you'll see Foles throw a few deep shots towards the sidelines, towards Alshon Jeffrey. I feel like, when you throw him up a jump ball towards the sidelines, Alshon Jeffrey is so good at coming down with it, keeping his feet in bounds. And Foles knows this. Foles knows this, throws him over the top, gives him those jump ball opportunities in single coverage. And for the most part, he's been coming down with it. I mean, they have a high efficiency rate when Foles has a high efficiency rate when he targets Jeffrey. Just feel like that number is a little too small, and definitely some advantage there. If you got it at 57.5, definitely bet that over. The last prop I'll give you guys for this game that I bet is Eagles third quarter plus a half a point, minus 116. I know it seems a little wild, seems a little bit of a stretch. I want to be clear, since Foles took over this team, they have outscored their opponents 34-0 in the third quarter. I'm not saying it can't be a coincidence. I'm just saying there's clearly some halftime changes that are happening offensively and defensively. I mean, we're not talking over the last 3 games. This is 23-7 or 30-14. It's 34-0 in the last 3 games in the third quarter for the Eagles. And again, they played the Rams, they played the Texans, and they played the Redskins. Okay, well, even if we take the Redskins out of the equation, the Eagles only scored 7 points against the Redskins, by the way, so you're still talking 27-0. They outscored the Rams and the Texans in the third quarter. There are clearly adjustments being made in the third quarter for this Eagles team. I'm not concerned whether they're behind, whether they're ahead, based on these numbers and how good they've looked. They're just controlling time of possession in the third quarter. How good they've looked coming out of halftime just makes me think that there's a lot of value in that. You can moneyline bet them as well if you're into that kind of risk. But for me, I'll take the half point on the off chance that no points get scored, or if they tie. Again, I'm going with a team that's literally 34-0. I mean, not literally, exactly 34-0. Last 3 games in the third quarter, obviously, a little over 10 points a game outscoring their opponents. Definitely give me a half a point, minus 116 all day. Just to recap, I'm going with the Eagles plus 6.5. It's a number. It's strictly a numbers bet. I don't love it. It's my least favorite bet of the weekend. I did explain to you guys that it wouldn't surprise me at least if the Bears rolled this team. But you can't, in my opinion, I've been betting NFL for quite a few years now. Don't let the young age fool you. You've been working with the Pops for a long time in NFL. Um, you bet momentum into playoffs. Eagles arguably have the most momentum coming in. You could argue they almost, they almost didn't make the playoffs, and what had to happen for them to get in, and especially what happened last year. This is a confident team, and momentum's a huge factor, and I'll happily take 6.5 here. Alshon Jeffrey, over 57.5 yards, minus 108. Foles loves him some Jeffrey. Went into that earlier. If you didn't see it or hear it. And give me the Eagles plus 0.5 point, minus 116 for the third quarter. Again, that's the Eagles versus the Bears, just the third quarter. You can get 0.5 point at minus 116. You can even moneyline bet them at dog money if you'd like. But again, big thing there is Eagles, since Foles has taken over, have outscored their opponents 34-0 in just the third quarter. Clearly, adjustments are being made after halftime in their favor. So, again, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching the video. This caps off all the weekend NFL vids. I'll give you guys a college video as well on the bowl game, bets that I like there. But other than that, really thank you guys for taking time to listen and watch. Please subscribe to the channel and comment below. Love responding to the comments. And look, good luck on all your games this weekend, and I'll be back for the college championship game.